Ladies and gentlemen, how are you doing over there? Thank you for sparing time once again for this beautiful show, the Benjamin Zulu Show. Every day is getting better with the show, right? Now, there is an episode we did where Benjamin told us about introverted people. One thing that I remember Benjamin saying is that introverted person will never be an introvert around somebody he or she loves. That is one thing that I really remember. Now today on the show, Benjamin is going to go further, okay, to help us differentiate between an introvert and an antisocial person. How do you do that? That is why today again, I have a special sitting with Benjamin Zulu. Come with me. Hey, Benjamin.
Hello. I was flabbergasted, confused and shocked that this is something that people don't understand. I posted and advised people to marry a person who can relate with the people, who can converse, who pays attention. Suddenly now, people made it all about introversion. No, me, I don't like people. No, me, I like my space. No, me, I stay alone. Brahman, let me advise you, for your own good. Make sure you marry a person who has warmth, who can converse when you're in a group of friends, who is open, who pays attention. Avoid cold people, aloof, detached, snobbish, mysterious, and confusing. I'm trying to sink this because especially men are terrible at reading women. Women also, they mistake snobbish people, antisocial people for introversion. They usually hide it behind personality. Today I'm discussing character and I'll come to describe the difference. Introvert or extrovert is personality, nature, how you are energized, how you are socialized, what excites you, how you interact with the people. That is nothing to do with your heart. It's everything to do with your temperament. And temperaments are just there. How you are socialized, how your social battery works, what energizes you, how your mind operates. That is your nature in terms of your personality. And it's something you can't change. You just learn to live with it and how to adjust yourself to make sure you have a fulfilling life, whether you are very introverted or very extroverted. And that is not the topic. I was shocked how people are confusing these two. One day a brother told us to escort him to go and see the home of the girl he was marrying. So along the way, he wanted to marry. So along the way, we picked the lady and her friend. We didn't know which one it was that he wanted to marry yet, but the two ladies were directly opposite. Directly opposite. They were both beautiful physically to look. They looked youthful and dressed well. So physically, they were both okay. But once they sat in the car, and now we were there, the five of us, I saw the stark difference. One was open and conversational and flowing. The other one was aloof. The one who gives the one-word answer. My name is Maggie. And that's all. Nice to meet you. I want to show you the difference. One simply introduces, of course I'm using fictitious names. Let's call them Maggie and Beatrice, for example. So Maggie sinks to the corner, says, yeah, nice to meet you. And that's all. That's all you'll hear from Maggie. Beatrice, hey guys, nice to meet you. Yeah, so, Julius is my, met Julius sometimes. We conversed along the way, trying to catch up, like friends, people are adults, and they're happy we have come to their function. And the guy was not in that car, so at that time he had not told us who is who. Just I think we were still waiting for him. We were picking them. Those moments when I had not been told, I was surely hoping he's marrying Beatrice. I actually assumed it's Beatrice because she's engaged. We're talking and she wants to know, so, and you, what you do? Okay, me too. Oh, and then she shows interest like a good person will show, also you work for radio. Oh, you do? Oh, you're a journalist. Oh, all right. And there was a time I was interested about that. It was not about her personality or extrovert or introvert. The fact that she showed interest in people. She had a warm heart. She was relational. The other one was aloof and cold and distant. And to my chagrin and regret, my friend was marrying the other one. He knew both. He met them at around the same time and he chose the wrong one. What is that? To this day, that guy has been cut off from all people. As soon as he married that woman, he was removed from us. He's aloof and detached. I tried to investigate what was it. I realized he had been bribed. It's these people who get bribed early. I told you sex outside marriage is a bribe, and it blinds the eyes. You begin to see them in terms of those feelings. He could not see things clearly. He was making a mistake, and I was feeling it. The other one was also single, and she was happy that the friend is getting married. And I learned that he had met them at around the same time, both of them, and picked this one who is aloof. Why do men love women who are aloof? They look difficult, and to conquer her is like a victory. You know, she's difficult. She's distant. Avoid that hunter thrill of going for unreachable, far away. They can be very infatuating. People look difficult and disinterested. It may be very satisfying to finally deflower and conquer her. My friend, that's not how you choose a wife. She will continue with her aloof ways and she will detach you from everyone. She was simply mean-spirited. There was nothing to it. There was nothing to it. It's snobbish. Doesn't see the need to talk to people. And don't get into our space unless you have a reason to do that. The day you visit a home and a brother is married to a woman like that, you feel it. Even if the guy is bubbly and you, both of you are friends, you enter home and the environment is very different. Men also have that trait a lot. There are men who are like that. It's not a woman thing. And I had a lady say she had this guy who could not even attend important functions, the barrier of a relative. And he would even refuse her from attending things that are important in social because he just closed in somewhere. Closed in, doesn't feel for people. So Bramwell, today I want to distinguish for you because it arose a debate that I found funny, weird. Because for me, this was open like this. Now, the good thing with the discussions, you can begin to see where people are confused. A woman who is introverted, a person who is reserved by nature, but she's good at it, will know when she needs her time alone and when she needs to connect with the people. Because she's reserved. Introverted means reserved, as she lives a lot alone, and she needs her time to rejuvenate and think alone. That is her nature. But she's too good-hearted and warm and compassionate and sociable, and one who gets outside herself to listen to people, and one who flows with the moments, and one who pays attention, who wants to know how your life is doing, one who takes care, who wants to know whether you could have a need she could meet. That kind of one could be very introverted. As I told you, my best lecturer in master's, one who shaped my thinking a lot, was very introverted. And she used to teach in class and say, hey, on the days that I have a class, that could be the only time I step out of my house. I come out, teach, and go back to my space. I love my space. She would tell us the life of an extrovert introvert could be very different. But when you love your work, your life, and your people, you step out to deal with them, to interact with them. Even without being an expert of personalities, you know our Lord was introverted. As a human, when he came here on earth, when you look at how he conducted himself, and John, the one who wrote Revelation, versus Peter. I don't need to be an expert to know who was an extrovert there, who was an introvert, surely. John was very reserved. Yeah. Peter was very expressive. Does that say anything about their characters? They both loved their work. They both loved people. They both worked. And they were extrovert and introvert. You can't compare that with Judas. Judas, the problem was the heart. So today I want to teach you to stop mistaking temperaments with matters of the heart. So, you want a girl who, she might be a very reserved person. Today I'm leaving extroverts out of discussion because they're not in the debate. Nobody confuses extroverts. They talk a lot and tell you who they are early on. Me, I'm very extroverted and we are happy in our noise. In fact, people think extroverts are always talking, but no, it's that we are stimulated by contact. Sometimes when I want to think about something, I talk about it. And the ideas come like this. An extrovert flows, their mind activates on contact. The mind of an introvert flows, activates on discontact. You get it? They generate ideas better when they have a quiet space. They can actually, most of the innovations are done by introverts. Of course, I'm not including people like Thomas Edison who are very social. I'm talking about like Einsteins, who needed something to contemplate it for many years, to pierce their minds onto something. There's a place for you, whether you're introvert or extrovert, in your career if you know how to manage your temperament. But I'm discussing matters of the heart, whether a person loves people, whether they get along with people. So this is what I'm saying. You want a person who, whether by nature they are reserved or not, they smile. Hey. I told you the other day, you men look at the big, very big, you look for the big aspect, okay? You look at bigger picture, you leave small details.
Yeah.
My mentor used to mention things that I would sometimes gloss over and try to argue in my youthful passion. And he would ask things that, what kind of occasion is that? So you're praising a lady, as you said, he says, how often do you hear her laugh? I'm saying laughing. You're not laughing, depends on situation. Until that day we carried those two girls in the car, I saw the difference like this. And he said, that coldness you see when she's among new people who are coming to her event to help her, she's not even showing gratitude. She may say it physically, verbally, thank you. But do you see it? That lack of warmth, that coldness and aloof, that, my friend, is what you'll have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. And Bramwell, if you marry a person who is snobbish, detached, I'm coming to tell you the causes why people become like that. But I'm telling you the symptoms, to see them as day and night. I want you to see them so clearly so that you never make this blunder. So, these people who are, I'm trying to distinguish the two. When a person is reserved and introverted, they will have few people who know them personally because they don't open their details too much. But they have friends. They have a normal life. They have people who love them because they serve people. In fact, they told me one thing introverts do when they go to, they don't like big crowds and gatherings. They tire them easily. But this does not mean that they will never show up for events that have people. They told me one skill for introvert is they arrive and start serving people to avoid too many conversations. Just have food, do the work there to avoid having too many conversations. That's one introvert will say, yeah, they show up, but what I do, I look for a task to keep myself busy. All right? If it's a Aurora show function, Lobola function, if it's a funeral or it's a meeting, a wedding, we are all there, introverts and extroverts. You're coming here because you love the people you came to support. Differentiate this. Bramwell, you don't go there because you are idle and you wanted somewhere to eat rice. You could have eaten rice in your house. Yeah. In essence, we go to show support to people who matter to us. So you don't go there because of your personality. Of course, those guys who are stimulated by to see. For me, people are like exploration. I see people like I'm seeing new countries, new cultures. Every person has a personal temperament or lifestyle, and when I'm observing them, I'm learning. People like Plato and Aristotle would go to the market to observe. So I use that observation. So when I'm in groups, I'm observing. I'm not always talking. There are times I need my personal space, quiet personal space. Everybody has those times when you need to rejuvenate. The more you mature, the more you need those spaces to do your work. Extroverted doesn't mean you're talking every time. It means you are stimulated by social contact. When you get in touch with a person, your ideas flow better. Does not mean I don't think alone, I research alone, but I am stimulated and energized when I'm in front of a group. I come alive. I think on my feet. I get hyper. Sometimes I was almost sickly going down, gloomy, until it's time for a show. And suddenly I'm up. I forget whether I was feeling anything. When I'm done with the work, it comes back. So many extroverts don't write their speeches because they will not follow them. They just need to know the key pointers, what to talk around. They'll manufacture the words in the moment. But many introverts want to keep control of the direction and to avoid too much tension and stares. So they'll simply. So that lecturer told me you learn. When you're born an introvert, you learn, you borrow, you graft some qualities to socialize. He told me socializing skills, you must learn them. When you're an introvert, some of them will take more work. When you're extroverts must learn how to keep quiet and listen. because it's more natural for them to talk. But people are more influenced by listening than talking. So she taught me social skills of listening, paying attention, being calm, flowing with the structure and composing yourself. For me, classes were very painful when they were lasting morning to evening. They were very painful because I'm sitting for too long. Too painful. One of those breaks of getting excited and changing activity and coming, that was purely extroversion. It had nothing to do with my heart. Whether I love people, whether I am attentive, whether I am mean, stingy, or whether I'm generous. I'm distinguishing this so that you stop making these mistakes. So then, being introverted means this person has a reserved life. But you can see whether they love people. They are warm-hearted. They are compassionate. They flow. They pay attention. They don't detach from people and hide and act like they don't care. These are not the kind of people who disconnect you socially and feel angry when the children visit who visit. I'm not advocating indiscriminate socialization. We must all choose. Some people you don't want to associate with them because of their nature of energy, because of who they are, because of they affect your life. We're not saying when you're good-hearted, when you must associate with everyone. We are also selective because once we know people, we know where to put them. Yeah. But Brahmal, when you arrive at a place where we are here, the three of us, and you've come with a woman, what do you expect? Greet us. And she does not know us. We are your friends. She came over here. You are showing her around. What do you expect? She pays attention and gets to know, oh, that's Jugush. Oh, that's Maish. Oh, that's Otieno. All right. And then they get to know. And as you're talking, she pays attention. And later on she'll call. Yeah, I remember the guy who said, because she was paying attention. And you can see when I accompany my woman to her social space where I'm not known and they don't know me there, she's the one who grew with those people and we have showed up there and these are people. What should I do as a person who is social, who is sociable? I should be attentive and present. Okay? Yeah. I don't go there and then sneak, hide in the car somewhere. And then she's there explaining to people, sorry, you can't, I think he's busy, sorry. There may be circumstances where you have no role to play and you can wait in the car. That may be healthy. But there are people who hide in corners and cars and places to detach because they are snobbish and they are dismissive of your social circles. That will injure you a lot. It will become, people start avoiding you to avoid crossing that other person badly. All right? Yeah. What causes these people? Imagine, Bramwell, it's only two things that causes people to be distant and detached and aloof and cold and unconcerned. You may think, I wanted to differentiate, tell you that it's not their personality. It's not whether they're extroverted or introverted. It's a matter of the heart. It's an attitude caused by two things. One, they simply failed to develop social skills. They never learned the importance of paying attention. Don't know why they call it pay. See if there's a cost. But you're supposed to, expend attentiveness and get outside yourself. You see how children behave? At what point do we teach children to be socially attentive? That when there's a person talking, keep quiet and listen. There's a time when children are young, they don't know how to pay attention, so we let them. But as they grow, we start teaching them how to pay attention and flow with what is happening. Not to make noise when we are praying. Not to demand this and the other when people are busy. To learn how to wait. If you don't teach your child early on that the world does not revolve around them, this is what they will grow into. Imagine that. They simply were not told that the world does not revolve around them. So when you're not talking about them, they have no interest. It's a narcissistic trait, self-absorbed trait. I'm not saying they are narcissists, I'm just saying a trait. Self-absorbed trait that is self-centered and extremely antisocial because they only pay interest when you're talking about them. They have not learned how to get outside themselves and give the spotlight to another. And they demand complete attention to be revolved around them. Adults have that trait, and I want you to start looking for it as you move around. You may go to an office work in your company, and you look around and see, you may not be always talking, jumpy, and that's not what we are describing, but can you greet people? Can you notice that so-and-so was not around yesterday? Are you okay? Can you ask them how they are faring since when you went to the hospital to see your auntie last week? Can you Give something when somebody is in need. When you realize you're fundraising for a friend of ours who has lost their grandpa, they've gone from, do you show any concern? This is nothing now to do with whether you are hyper or whether you are reserved. It's a matter of the heart. In fact, many leaders who touched the world were very reserved. Nelson Mandela was an introvert, and he was a president. Very reserved person. In fact, that personality called INFJ, and they're the most reserved. Those advocates, INFJ, they're very reserved. When you look at people like Mahatma Gandhi, when you look at people who, in their personal life, they lived a generally low-key life. Generally low-key. Obama was very hyper. Loves crowds. It's called ENFJ personality. You can see the extrovert. But when you come to the matter of his heart and how he loves people, how he cares, that's what people notice the most. Remember that? Mm-hmm. So the one thing that causes these people, don't forget, they lack social skills. They lack the understanding that it's not always them. They are used to attention revolving around them. It is a stage of learning they skipped. And they're moving around with a childish self-centeredness that causes them to lose interest when they are not the subject of discussion. Mm-hmm. Be very careful, because you are seeing it but you don't know what it means. So you're likely to overlook it and go on to marry that person. They're extremely self-centered. Extremely self-centered. A guy from my area, home place, was very sociable and likable and married a stone-faced wife who I've never seen smile for all the years. My friend, they run a business, a farm. You go there to buy farm produce. When you find the guy, you feel very much relieved because he's checking how you guys doing and, he's concerned about your welfare. If you meet the wife, she's talking to you facing the other direction. How much is this on that? 200 shillings. You pay there, pick. Thank you. No pleasantries, no connectedness, no warmth, nothing. Just stone-faced. Why do men do that on themselves? Why do men do that on themselves? Why do women marry men who are just aloof, detached, cold? Because we underestimate it, we confuse it with being introverted. They don't like crowd. This is not about crowding. Or is it's about the kind of heart and attitude you have. Snobbish, detached. The other cause, Brahma, that causes people to be these distanced and unconcerned. Imagine it's an unresolved pain, a pain they've never resolved. Mm-hmm. Trauma of the past. There are people who used to be bubbly and happy and open until a breakup happened. Until a nasty breakup happened. A traumatizing heartbreak. Mm-hmm. Or the loss of a loved one. Or bullying in school. Something that happened. Sometimes it happened in a big way so that it was visible. It was the loss of a loved one and the whole family was shaken. Sometimes a quiet thing that happened to them only. A teacher would pick on them. A relationship they got into, emotional entanglement they got into, and they got snubbed and their self-esteem was affected. If it is in this second case, you can see everybody recalls when the person changed. Mm-hmm. When it is a traumatizing event that they never overcame, everybody tells you, even them, they know. There's a time I used to be a sunny person, a sunny, open person. There's a time I used to be easy. Now, when I look back, I can't recognize who I am. When it came from a traumatizing event, the change is so swift, it is noticeable. Mm-hmm. And people keep telling me, you've changed. They're talking about deterioration, not improved. Sometimes when people say you have changed, they're discussing an improvement that they don't like, mm-hmm. that you're no longer easy to misuse. But this kind of change, they're saying you have deteriorated. How come you're no longer interested in people? Don't even keep eye contact. Don't even converse. You retreat to your shell. Mm-hmm. You avoid people. You ignore as if they don't exist. This is the problem when a person has not processed a loss, a trauma. This happens a lot to men when another man has outshone him and married a woman he wanted. He feels his masculinity. Samson felt very injured when his woman was given to his best man, his friend. And that's why he lost that woman like that. And it affected him so much that moving forward, it affected his relationship, that when he dated the wrong woman, second time around, he could not release her so that he does not lose a second time. Yeah. He clung on too long. When you went through a rejection and a pain that touched you to the core and challenged your masculinity or your femininity or your attractiveness, there are three things that touch people deeply. How attractive they are, how desirable they are, how intelligent they are, and how cultured they are. So don't insult those three things. Cultured. Don't tell a person they're backward. How intelligent they are, whether they understand things. Or how likable they are, desirable, how attractive. So when a breakup or something happened that made you think you are unattractive, hey, it becomes so disorienting. Brahman don't marry people who are on emotional stretches. We said the other day, be very merciful to those who are suffering in this world and pray for them all over the world. Remember them in your prayers. And when you can drop some charitable aid, drop it. Give her a piece of advice. Be sympathetic to a friend. But when it comes time to marry a person who has the capacity. Okay? Yeah. You need a person who has the capacity to go with you where you're going. So these people become this way for two things. It was a spoiled kid, selfish, demanding child who never learned to get outside themselves and pay attention to others. And who, because society demands them to cooperate at work and elsewhere, they masqueraded slightly, but internally they're still self-centered, snobbish, demanding of attention. And they look down on everyone quietly. It's pride, self-absorption. So they keep to themselves and you never hear them laugh. Their heart is very mean. Very mean. And they just keep the life like that. And it is so uncomfortable to be guests, to visit them. Very uncomfortable because there's no freedom. The environment is tense. They got a very tense atmosphere. Why do people marry them? Because you think you are the one to maybe improve them, redeem them, rehabilitate them. Or you think you are the one to conquer them. They look unconquerable. Some people are being left alone because they should not be married by anyone. Be careful. Be careful, brother. Don't think you're winning what other men cannot. Be careful, brother. Men have this hunter instinct, competitiveness, wanting to get what other men can't get. Ask yourself why she's being left alone. Ask yourself. Maybe people can see what you can't see. Maybe never marry a person to rescue them. Okay? Yeah. Only people can rescue themselves. So the second thing is an unhealed trauma that changed them and hurt them so bad they can't open, can't trust, can't flow with people. And they almost suspect everyone. And be careful, this can either degenerate into a more social seclusion, which can bring other psychological issues, or they can simply be a person who lives in seclusion. They work in a company around people, they go to a certain place, churches around people, but socially, they're very secluded. And people don't come close to them because they're not easy. You see these people who, even if you, by some chance, you omit a title or you mispronounce the name, they're very offended. Instead of just correcting in a friendly manner or letting it slide, they're very offended. Or you can't just greet them, I don't know you, I don't know you can't sit, I don't know you can't pass. We tend to avoid those people because who wants to be that careful every time? So avoid. This is not about introversion. Introverted person who is also socially balanced, has an open heart and compassion and loves people and open to people, will have those quiet times when they regenerate. But they love people. They are open. They are sunny. They're easygoing. They're concerned. They care. And you can see liveliness. They smile. There's radiation on their face and they smile. We're not saying every day they're happy, but they have an open spirit. You can see this person. If I present them to my mother, they will be able to talk. You can see. Can't meet new people and you're not embarrassed that you have to compensate for their aloofness. Yes.
You have to overcompensate.
Yes.
And Benjamin, by the way, I see this clearly. When you are describing them, I'm able to pinpoint some of these people that I've seen. Now, this antisocial trait, does it also result into insecurities? Once you get into a relationship, for example, with a lady who's totally antisocial, and you are an extrovert or a social person.
You can even be an introvert. Let's work with introverts, so that we distinguish. There's no confusion with extroverts. They have been left out of this discussion. But people are hiding in temperaments to excuse their mean, dark heart. Be careful. When you talk a big heart, it means it's a small heart. Mean, lean, not accommodating, not attentive. So yes, those people become very insecure because they notice that other people are very drawn to you because they somehow know they are dismissive of people. They're inattentive. And you smart people, you greet people, you pay attention, you listen, you're easygoing, you're not easily offended, you don't carry grudges. People, I mean, everybody wants a person who is easy to live with. As human beings, we don't want battles in our social space. We'd rather fight out there to earn money. When it comes to social space, we want a person who is easy to deal with, who doesn't take offense on everything, who is not always aloof and mysterious and making faces. No. Or what we want is a person who we know, they're just a reserved person, but they're nice. People always know. Our President Kibaki was very introverted. Yeah. But was he loved by people? Yeah. He is still voted as one of the best presidents we ever had. Built roads, brought us motorbikes, and he was not showy. He was not that talkative. But he was at work. He loved people. We knew his heart. So don't confuse the two of extrovert and introvert. So the thing we are saying is they can get insecure when they realize that you are drawing more people. But why are people drawn to you? You are open. You are generous. You pay attention. Remember, generosity is not always in material. Yes, it is in material. It is giving things. But it's also in paying attention to notice the need. Are we together? Yeah. When you don't talk to people, listen to people, will you notice the need? No. It's only when you notice and then you help them with an advice that solves the problem. Yeah. Yes.
Right. That is very true. And Benjamin, about these introverts, they are energized by within their own social space.
Yes.
And we have those people who say, Benjamin, yes, I know I don't like actually welcoming people into my space. But again, because of the trauma, they don't know how to deal with this so that they can actually be those warm people that we are talking about. How can these antisocial people actually deal with them? Is there room for them to actually deal with and resolve issues to actually be warm towards other people?
Exactly. You must seek therapy, must seek healing. The kind of teachings we give here, they can also serve as self-healing. When you're committed for a self-journey, you can acquire materials by the way. Life coaches and therapists are one way. Another way is self-healing. Acquire the knowledge, get the solution, research, check online, work on it. For example, forgiving, letting go of the fear that everybody will leave. If I open my heart, they will end up hurting me. Letting go of the generalizations that people always leave. Letting go of those traps. We have self-confining traps that can be very disastrous if you entertain them. For example, thinking that men or women from a certain community are like this because that one treated them like this, or believes that there is no true love anymore. People are all after money, men are all after sex. Women want money, men want sex. No. Those self-limiting beliefs that you're clinging on to, and you know they're not universally true. You just wanted to explain your situation in a way that does not make you feel uncomfortable. You can reprogram your mind and reform yourself. So it is very possible, once you realize it started somewhere with a trauma, or it started with simply not being trained to get outside yourself, you can unlearn and change.
You can unlearn and change. That is exactly why we are always here talking to you, our dear viewers. Thank you for watching the Benjamin Zulu Show. Till next time.